Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of The Bot and the Beast. It is Sunday, the 23rd of April. It is a chilling 40 degrees outside. I'm sitting here with my lovely fiancée, Sam.
Hi.
Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's great.
So, this is our podcast. Today's topic is going to be characters.
Character design, all the way from A to B to C to D, and whatever letters we may be leaving out. And you'll notice something. I am going to be a lot more quiet than I usually am on my streams. That's right. Your boy, HeavyBot45, is not going to be the loud, obnoxious, crazy... This is going to be difficult. Oh, this is going to be crazy.
ASMR heavy?
ASMR, yeah, you don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. So yeah, today, talking about characters, because we've all got characters out there. I mean, if you've been following Sam for as long as you probably have, you've got probably 20 characters at Toy House, so happens to the best of us, Some of us have it in D&D Beyond, it's fine.
Yeah, characters, it could be furry characters, could be, D&D characters, could be even just yourself personified.
Book characters.
Yeah. Could be, writing, it could not even have art. Like, there's so many different characters.
So many different avenues, and that's pretty much the best place to start is conceptions. Character conceptions. Where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did it come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
See, we all like that. So, Sam, why don't you start? Tell us about where Riot and your cavalcade of characters came from, and
I can start with one, and then we'll bounce to you, and then back to me, and then you. Yeah, because I have 4 characters as of currently. You have 3 currently, main ones, I guess we'll say.
Well, yeah.
There's always more stuff.
Of course,
in your head,
there's a whole novel with at least 10 that I've created, but we won't get into that.
We won't talk about that yet. So my main character for a while has been Riot, and probably will always be Riot. I basically sat down one day, this was when I still was early into YouTube, and I was like, damn, all these YouTubers have, mascots. Characters, something cool that people are like, oh, that's that person, that's their logo, that's their character, oh, that's this, and that's basically what I, sought out to do, is make myself a character, because for the longest time I kind of just, I've always had the same name on YouTube and mostly everything, Running Riot 4798, I've had that gamer tag for a really long time, and that's kind of the name that I gave Riot as actually a placeholder. Riot was a placeholder name and it just stuck. But I sat down one day and I just started drawing something just because of what was around my room inspired me. So I had a lot of dragon statues, which I still have today. I had a dragon skull. We would get those by going to the arcade in New Jersey every summer, and I would pick out a new dragon and pay for it with the tickets and stuff. So I had a skull, and that I really like skulls and just that kind of stuff.
What she's not telling you folks is that somewhere in Pennsylvania is her grandmother's house.
Yeah.
And in that garage...
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, so my grandparents, or my grandpa, was a hunter. That could have really inspired it, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So my grandpa's a hunter, as most men are in Pennsylvania. I grew up a lot on deer meat, venison, that stuff. And he
would... Out. You don't go to the grocery store, no, you go out for your food.
You go in the woods. But... yeah, so he had a lot of deer skulls, coyote skulls, just every kind of skull you could think of, every wild animal that is ever in Pennsylvania, there was a skull in the garage just hanging on the ceiling because of that, and I thought that was so cool as a kid. And that could have really inspired it, because those have been there. I'm 25 now, I just turned 25, so those have been there before I've even, was around. And they just only collect because he would, go out on the side of the road and be like, oh, dead deer. Skull, give me.
Well, and see, here's the thing, folks. 2 years down the road, after 1 year of dating and 1 year of being engaged, I finally see this, and I'm like, that's where it came from. This makes sense. They're just all up in the rafters, looking down on you.
Yep.
But anyway, continue.
Yeah. So there's probably a ton of different inspirations. One that I can immediately think of. Sometimes it's funny how this lines up. Like, my grandma, she always drove a Dodge Ram. And, well, I'm also an Aries, if you want to get into that. But both of those things, they are things with ram horns. And I really like the ram horn look. So that's probably where the ram horns came from. And the blue. Blue is my favorite color, so the blue horns, the blue fur, which I actually did struggle with for a while on Riot. They originally had, like, black fur in the first drawing I ever did of them, like, as the logo. Actually, they didn't even really... I mean, they had, like, kind of ram horns-ish, and, like, just black fur, claws, but I switched between having the issue of, like, black fur, purple fur. I couldn't get the color right, but then I finally figured out it's, like, dark navy blue, so that's the color I was looking for. So, and it takes time, and then, like, originally they didn't have bone arms, but now they do. Like, you get development over time with your characters, and they'll change to your liking, or you think something's cool and you want to add it to them. So I guess I'll do like a little basic lore or basic stuff about them. So, well, everything is up on the Toy House, which I highly suggest people that have many characters to get a Toy House if possible. So Riot is a kitsune, originally. They were cursed by someone, that someone being my other character, Glaz, which is an Eastern dragon, and the curse basically made their face fall off, and, you know, they ate their own arms, so they have the bone arms and the skull face now, and now they go out and search for Glaz, which they don't know the name of them at that point, to go find them and hunt them down.
Yeah, give me my face back.
Yeah, give me, what did you do to me? It's like an experiment kind of thing. But, how I see my character, Riot is definitely me. Like, I like to think of that like a parallel of, like, they're me, I'm them. And yeah, that's kind of right. I mean, that's a simplified version. There's so much more, but I'll let you.
Yeah, well, why did you choose that?
Why did I choose Riot, or just like Kitsune Skull Dog? Well, I mean, the YouTube thing, having I didn't have a story for them at all first. They were just a logo at first. Right. And I just like, I guess, demonic things, dragons, stuff like that. So, and then the Kitsune came afterwards, which I think that was mostly due to, like, rather anime or shows I was watching at the time.
There's a lot of iconography.
There's a lot of little bits and pieces that inspire them, and they just, like, keep growing from there.
Yeah.
Like, what's the name? I think it's Kurama from Naruto, like the orange devil fox. Like, that was probably a big inspiration for the Ninetales. I also really did enjoy, like, having Ninetales on my team as Pokemon.
I was gonna say, yeah, as soon as you said Ninetales, like, oh yeah, Pokemon.
There was, I don't remember, it was like a movie about, like, a kitsune girl, but, like, she was growing up or something, and, like, I can't remember most of it, and I forget what it's called. I'll have to look it up again. I think it was, like, Kyuubi and the Four-Tailed Fox or something like that. I don't remember. It was so long ago. But, yeah, there's just so many different little inspiration pieces that put together, or just come together to put together a character, and, you know, sometimes it'll take time. It builds up over time, and you'll have a different design from what you did 10 years ago, or whatever. So...
It's very true.
Yeah.
And then there was me.
And there was you.
So my main is Heavybot. And that was literally because... So the name Heavybot45 is literally my Steam profile name and has been...
username.
Yeah, it has been since Man vs. Machine came out on TF2.
That's something I wanted to bring up too. So your original original community is like TF2.
Yeah.
Mine was Halo. That's where I got the Running Riot part from. And then 4798 is my birthday. The 45 is your.
The 45 is just a number.
Just a number that you liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily that I liked. So I made this email. The lore behind the 45. I know this is big stuff. So I made this email. It was my first name, and then Stone, then 45. And the idea was, if I could trick somebody into thinking my last name was Stone and that I was a 45-year-old, they wouldn't want to talk to me. So that's the lore behind the 45, and then it just stuck. That's literally it. But HeavyBot 45 was literally not going to be anything until I started streaming with John, Jack, Joseph, yeah, exactly. That whole group of curmudgeons. And when we started streaming, I was like, I'll just use the same name. And then, gosh, I still have those horrible Golf with Your Friends videos. I'm so glad we found them. But
yeah.
If you want links to that, they'll be somewhere maybe. If I dare bring them to the public eye again. But anyway, for a long time it was literally just a screen handle, and I was literally just the heavy bot that you would see in Man vs. Machine. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, and this son of a gun comes into my life. Hi. And for a while, I was very safe from being a furry. And then I meet her in Tarpon Springs. She looks at my eyes and goes, whoa. That's what she tells me anyway, and I'm going to stick with it. We start dating, and then suddenly I'm more furry adjacent than I've ever been, right?
You're welcome.
Yeah. And then we get engaged, and then here we go again, you know. And somewhere before, obviously, I think it was before the engagement, I was just like, all right, well, let's make my character an actual character. And you did some very basic art where it was just HeavyBot.
Yep.
And it wasn't the actual character, Thorson Malmater. And that's Metal Man in Norse.
Oh, I didn't know that,
so
actually.
You want to know, yeah. So Thor's son is literally Thor's son.
Thor's son.
Yeah, that's why you see Ericsson or that's all I can think of right now.
Yeah.
You know, though. I had to figure out how to do bot, but then I was like, well, they wouldn't have that in the Viking Age, so I was like, all right, well, what about Metal Man? Malmater. And I was like, oh, good. That'll work. So that's where the name came from. And I became even more furry adjacent when I added the wolf pelt over my character.
And it's a personified wolf pelt.
Exactly. So that wolf pelt. Hello, Nelson. Special guest Nelson on the line now. Nelson, tell us about your OC. No? All right. So the wolf pelt is Fenrir basically in like a sort of a spirit form. So I guess we're already getting into the lore here.
The lore.
The basic gist of it is the heavy bot that used to be just a robot. I gotta even go back further than that. So it's starting to get written down. Just bear with me. Ragnarok happens. All the gods of Norse times fight their individual demons. Thor was fighting Jormungandr, the world snake, the world serpent. And I wrote it to where he basically hammer downs like Reinhardt, but with lightning and thunder and all this shit crackling in. Yeah?
Yeah. You said thunder, Nelson went, fuck!
That's exactly what Jormungandr did.
Yeah.
But anyway, the lightning, thunder, and all of that crackling through the skies of Asgard was enough to break time and space. I know, just deal with it. A lightning bolt sent through Thor's spirit, carried through the bot, carried the bot to the Viking Age, which is all anthropomorphic, and there's a reason for that. and that's where he resides now.
His world.
Yeah, with no way to get back because, well, it's Viking Age, so, you know.
Yeah.
And the basic storyline is Thorson gets found by these Viking hunters who are chasing hares who are also anthropomorphic. I had to figure out the
story.
I had to figure out the whole story, the whole lore behind it to make it so it made sense and so it wasn't
Wild.
Zootopia.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally what it was, because in the story they will eat the other clans if they can catch them.
It's more of like a Beastars thing where.
That's what I was
Predator,
looking for.
prey. Yeah.
I was looking for the name there.
Yep.
So he gets found. They see the Mjolnir on his pauldron. They take him back. They think he's some basically a gift from the heavens. What they don't know is Thor's spirit is actually in the programming now. So it's kind of like Thor's literally walking on Earth encased in that. The idea is then, stuff happens, hilarity ensues, as they say. And he finds Fenrir, the spirit of Fenrir, basically, beats the crap out of him, takes his pelt, wears it, he becomes magical to a degree more than he was before.
He leveled up.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he found the mythical loot.
Yeah.
And it goes on to where that Fenrir cape. Shut the fuck up. That Fenrir cape is trying to take over. So now Thor and Fenrir inside the programming are fighting. Yes, I get it. It's not like literal. They're
Actual fighting.
it's just more so who gets to control what.
Yeah.
And that leads into Ingolfir's story,
Yes. Yep.
which
is his skull dog.
Yeah, where my skull dog, where Fenrir does take control, morphs the body but can't get his face back. And that leads into Murphy's story, the Irish Wolfhound of the 18th century, whenever the Industrial Revolution, because in short, I know I'm doing all three of mine.
Oh no, you're good, because they all connect. They all connect really well.
But in short, Heavy Thorson loses his control. It turns into he turns into Ingolfir. Ingolfir goes across the Isles to Ireland, England, Scotland, does his bit there. A druid freezes him in a diamond ball, but then Murphy finds him on one of his treks to the Highlands, and so on and so forth. He lets out Ingolfir. He's in the present day. Ingolfir's still fighting with the spirit of Thor, and that's way down the line. I'm not even on that book. I'm barely done with the first book, but in short, that's yeah. So you got all three of them.
You have, it seems like you have a lot more. You're a better writer.
Well, I write
story maker
in general, so
yeah. Than I.
But to sum it all up, Heavy Bot is where I am. That's me. That's my me character, basically.
Mm-hmm.
If I were like big, burly, and had a kick-ass, wolf cloak and all that shit. But don't worry about that. And I chose what I chose because I like Vikings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You like
Vikings, Irish, and the Skull Dog and the Irish Wolfhound is all Sam's fault. She got me into the furry fandom, so that I blame you. I blame you.
So you're like you like the Viking, the Irish, like that stuff.
Yep.
And then like my characters are more. I guess I want to say like more like on the Japanese side, because like Eastern Dragon, Kitsune, Oni, which Oni in general are like the demons of Japan, or just like that area. And the character's name is literally Oni. They're red.
Oni cartoons?
No, not Oni cartoons. Different Oni.
Yeah.
And then Tamashi is literally the Japanese word for soul.
Yeah.
Which they're like a wisp. They're like a will-o-wisp. But they've been put into, most of you know what protogens are. They've been like put into a protogen body as like they've been resurrected kind of thing, because of Riot. But yeah, so like all my characters are connected. They have a story. They're not part of different universes, and I just haven't written it down. I honestly should just write it down. You have so much more, like, when it comes to story-wise. I have, like, on the Toy House, I have, like, little blips of, like a paragraph of, like, what each character is, what their purpose is, like, what they're doing.
Well, see, that brings us very well from taking our conceptions to the stage.
Yeah.
So, you've kind of mentioned some good ideas, you know, obviously Toy House and stuff like that, but...
Yeah.
What are other ways that you can really bring your OC from this fluttering thing in your head to something that's more concrete and something that maybe people want to get more involved with?
Yeah. So, since I've been doing this for, I mean, YouTube in general I've been doing for over 10 years, but in general, to get your character out there, I mean, you really have to obviously get a concept, get art, get drawings, and then once you get like a solid design that you're really happy with, start merchandising on it, start making things of them, honestly. Like plushies, you can like hand make a plushie, eventually like you can get like pins, even like fursuits. Fursuits are a huge part of like the furry community and like the characterization and such, and you can even make them yourself. You can have a maker, commission a maker, and you can even have it like, so for mine, I can have it so I can like switch up different parts and pieces. Like let's say I have my bone gloves, I can switch that out for actual paws instead. Like you can switch it around. Honestly, wearing the costume super fun. You just gotta build up the character, build up a community that like the character's design, and yeah, I'm blanking out at the moment, but yeah.
And that may be just all you need to do.
Have fun with it. Definitely have fun with
it. That's the big thing. You know, one of the things that I've done is find a bunch of artists that I like, and I just commission the ever-loving crap out of them.
Yes.
Find artists that you like their style. Find artists that maybe have a different style than you were thinking of. Really
try new things with it.
Really try new things, and then when you start getting that art in, organize it. So like Sam said, Toy House, that's an easy way to start. If you literally just have a folder with your art in it that you can easily reference, that's an easy way to do it. But organizing it is a really helpful and really key to your success with this OC, because if it's all over the place, you're like, well, where's that one picture where I'm doing this? Crap, I've lost it. You know, and you're going through folders and folders when you could be just going through one folder and
be like, oh, there it is.
There you go.
Have you gotten a piece of art that is, like, perfect? Like, it's exactly how you imagine the character? Because there's one headshot that I got a while ago from, like, one person on Instagram. I don't remember their name, but it's literally like exactly how I imagine them.
So I don't think I've ever gotten anything exactly perfect as I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which honestly is good. Is good. I appreciate that, because case in point, I have actually commissioned an artist. Their name is Kib. Kib Guts on most any social media.
Instagram, Twitter.
And I wanted to Star Wars eyes my 3 OCs.
Yeah.
And I had ideas for it, and I had poses, and I had everything in my head. When they sent the sketches back, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, but I like this better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about art in itself, is it's very malleable, you know? In your head, you may be thinking, well, I want it to look this way, this way, this way, this way. But when the artist comes back to you and it kind of looks, maybe it's like 80% there, or maybe it's 10% there, but it still looks good, you kind of say to yourself, maybe I don't want it to look like that.
Yeah, try something different.
You know?
Yeah. And you saying the Star Wars thing, that's also another good thing, is to insert your character in, I guess, relatable groups or relatable things.
Fandoms, yeah.
Relatable fandoms. So it's like, oh, you want to be a Pokemon trainer, so dress up like a Pokemon trainer, insert your character there, you're done. Like, there you go.
And that's, you know, that'll lead us into another segment here, but I guess a really good one to talk about now is what to do if you're strapped for cash. Because art, costumes, fursuits, pins, plushies, etc., that costs money.
And they are luxury items.
They are.
They're not necessities.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. And that's why you see a lot of people like complaining about art prices. Is like, bruh, it's not a necessity. You don't need it to live.
Well, and here's the thing. A lot of that kind of derives from the community's way of thinking.
Yeah.
So like in the furry community, and I've seen it a lot of people will go to a con as themselves, like no fursuit or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they may be a well-respected artist, they may be somewhere in the community, and they don't get as much interaction as they do when they put on the mask, as it were. No one knew who I was until I put on the mask.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. Like, nobody cares who you are underneath. They just want to see the funny animal costume, and I see that a lot, and it sucks. I know, like, friends of mine and, like, other creators that I know, like, they have had that experience where it's like, oh, I'm this character, haha, and everyone's, like, happy and around them, and as soon as they take it off, and they go to say hi to him again, they're just like, like, who are you? I don't care who you are. Which sucks. It really sucks. And you gotta find those people that, like, care both ways.
And see, it's kind of like dating in a sense, if you think about it. A lot of people look for that superficial look, and when you take the superficial away, they're like, well,
this is the one I signed up for.
I don't like you. I don't know. First of all, I don't know you. Secondly, I don't like you. When you find those people that don't care who you are with or without the, fursuit on, those are real friends, you know.
Like, I've had so many good experiences. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience with that. Like, every time, like, I'm in suit and I go up to somebody for the first time, but they, like, sort of know me already. They're like, oh my god, you're this person. Hi. And I was like, oh, we should hang out after, like, in a while, or like we should go out to dinner or something. And we've always had like good experiences, like let's meet up, yes, let's go to dinner. Like that's honestly half the fun of going to the cons. It's
absolutely.
Like going out.
But swinging back to what to do if you don't have money. Number one, and this is something I'm kind of sticking my toe into myself. If you've seen my art before today, you know that I'm not an artist. Because I draw stick figures, and they're not good. If you've watched any of my streams, like TKO, you know which ones are mine. It's not because they're good. But it is to draw yourself.
Yeah. Take the time, practice,
learn.
Draw. Because see, I'm on the opposite spectrum. Like, I am an artist. I can do decent art, I guess.
You can. And it all comes with time and practice. I mean, some people do have innate talent, but even then, to get to the next level, it takes some.
You still gotta practice.
So some things to do, obviously learning. If you just buy like a self-help book kind of thing, obviously that's one way to go. You could obviously go to college for that if you really
You just reminded me of the How to Draw Furries book that's like in Michael's craft store, like, or in any craft store.
I gave that to my brother.
Yeah, did you really?
I 100%
No
did.
way.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
I gave him how to draw cool things, and then I think it's like how to draw animals.
Anthropomorphic animal, or anthros, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, she's working on that, because,
Yeah.
And, that kind of goes into it. It takes time. Yeah. If you've not put time and effort to something, you're going to forget that, the person you've grown up with since birth is transitioning, and they are a she now. It's definitely been something I've been working on, and they still love me, So, and they understand. I usually stick with the they.
They, yeah.
But anywho, branching off topic now. So yeah, learning to draw. Riot, you brought up Riot. You're Sam to me. I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
just don't call me late for dinner. Aha! But you mentioned tracing with credit. Why don't you explain that?
I was a bad child, like many years ago, and
Many moons
ago, when I was still basically in high school, just starting college. I was very new to the fandom, very new to Twitter, very new to being online on social media, because that was kind of new to me. I would take art that I was like, oh, that's a really good pose, that's really cool. I'm gonna take that and just trace my character over it, which is more accepted now as long as the artist allows it and you credit them. Definitely contact the artist first, but I was bad and I would just take the art and trace it and then put my character on it and post it as my own. And a lot of kids do that. I see that constantly because kids don't know how to draw that certain body angle or like that style, and you really like that piece, but you don't have the money for it. So it's like, oh, I can do that myself if I trace. And it's in a way like if somebody were to do that to me, like my art, which they don't, because it's not like that style they're looking for. It's not. I don't want to say it's not good enough, but like I've never had that happen where somebody has traced my art, just because it's not like. I don't even want to say popular artist, but I don't know any better words for it.
Right. It's not mainstream.
It's not main, yeah. So, like, if somebody did that to me and traced the art and posted it as their own, I'd be like, hey, that is my art underneath of it. Just credit me as, like, hey, I traced it from this person. Like, and they give me credit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care, because, like, if somebody's not making thousands of dollars off of it, I don't care.
Right.
Like, whatever.
And keeping in mind, everybody does start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Tracing is not a bad way to start, as long as you're crediting, or you're not putting it in the public eye. That's a big thing.
Me and my friends did this a lot. Like, my elementary school and middle school friends, we had a book called How to Draw Manga Characters by, I think it was by Kevin Hart. I don't know why I remember that. It's a really popular drawing book, and we would literally just take a piece of tracing paper and draw over the sketches that were there, and then just change them up to look like our characters, or just to look like something cool, or our own designs. And like, it was a really good book. And honestly, I think I still have it somewhere. I need to get that out. I might just do that again, just because it's a really good poses and stuff.
And see, you start getting good, and you can start looking into art trades. You can start looking into merch trades, pins. People go nuts over pins. Oh my god,
pins! It's a whole market.
If you're into the more physical, you can make your own plushies. Yes, it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And these are things that you can trade with people to get your own. Are in their designs. Some people don't do it. Some people do. It depends. But somebody like one of our friends, Firefox Arts, we just send them stuff off their Amazon wish list, and boom, bang, everybody's happy. I sent them a giant loaf of bread. People like what they like, and you can get art from it. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, different payment plans, and payment plans in general. Like, this gets more into the fursuit stuff. Because there's some makers that want it all up front. Mm-hmm. Like, give me the entire thousands of dollars of payment, like, up front, which that's fair. That's their choice.
Yep.
But it's like, holy crap, I can't afford that kind of stuff. So with my commissioners and some people that I commission, I always mention the, pay anytime invoices. Over time, you can send the money, and then once it's all paid off, then I send you your thing, you send me my thing.
And it's not rude to ask for your own money if you put in the time and effort.
Yeah.
It's just when it starts. So you gotta leverage your your what's the word I'm looking for? You gotta be kind and courteous about it, but you also gotta be firm, because you entered into a contract of sorts.
You can't let anyone take advantage of you.
No, you're not.
Versa.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into the next idea we have for people who really want to take your OCs to the next level. It's branding versus iconography. And iconography is something that I kind of coined here, but we'll do the branding because they kind of go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. It's just where you want to go on the fork on the road. Yeah. That's where it is.
And that's where I started. It was a brand. I wanted a mascot. I wanted a logo. I wanted something that people can go, oh, that's Roaming Riot. And that has stuck. It's been getting to that point. It's at that point, and that's it changes over time, but that's where I originally started. Is I want a mascot, not I want to be a furry. No, it turned into mascot. Right. Then I figured out what art and furry stuff was, because I downloaded Twitter.
Right.
and followed a ton of artists. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I want to do things like this. So I was definitely not a furry before. I made Riot before I even knew what furries were. And that's really funny how that happens.
And there you go. So you got to ask yourself what you want to do with your OC. Do you just want art for it? Do you just want, like, maybe a plushie, a couple pins, you know, nothing too crazy, but something to get your OC on the physical plane, as it were? Or do you want to take them to the next level? And when it comes to the next level, you got to ask yourself, what is your end goal? So for myself, I've recently, obviously given my main character Heavy an actual ref sheet and art, and we've got a PNG tuber. I've even got the VR chat model as well. Really simple things because, you know, I have a base that is from a fairly popular game. For others, it may not be as easy. So, like, for your virtual models, you know, not so much your PNG tuber, because that's art. Yeah. And while it is difficult on its own level, it's not as difficult, I would like to say, as 3D modeling, right?
Yeah, 3D modeling definitely has a lot more into it.
And a lot more money.
I have very minimal knowledge when it comes to 3D stuff. I know very little. I know how to, like, pose characters and stuff like that. Right. Making models, no idea. Giving them bones, no idea. Like, I commission other people to do that, because I just don't know how to do it, and I don't want to sit down and figure it out. And it's like, it takes time.
The thing about commissioning other, especially 3D artists, is while it can take time, it shouldn't take an abhorrent amount of time.
Ooh, that's a good point too. We didn't even write down as getting scammed.
Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll tangent that a bit because it is important, especially for our up and coming maybe streamers. You want to be a convention goer. You want to be, like, up on the sponsors' names, or you want to help set up conventions. You need to be wary of who you're talking to at all times. Unfortunately for us, and I'm a banker and I know this, scammers are smart, and they have plenty of time on their hands to take the money that you have earned off of you without remorse. Just some quick tips, you know, if they're starting to change terms on you because you're backing out, probably a scam. They may be somebody who's, like, desperate and needs some money, but 9 times out of 10, and I've actually run into it where, you know, I'll tell them, I will give you half up front, half when it's finished. If I don't know the person. If they start changing terms on me right then and there, I'm starting to get leery, because I've even lost the half. You know, and I tell myself I only lost half, so it's not that big of a deal. But I've also lost the whole amount. You know, hundreds of dollars just gone, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So, keeping yourself safe, keeping a level mind, as well as making sure that you verify that this is a legitimate project this is going to do. And one of the ways you could do that, check the what they've done. And get in contact with the customers.
Make sure it's not somebody else's suit work or artwork. Or I've seen that happen a lot, where fake accounts come up and it's like, oh, here's a new account, here's all the stuff I've done, and it's other people's work.
Exactly.
You have to really do your research.
And
real quick, now, like, with most people use PayPal.
Yeah.
Do never do friends and family for people that you don't know. When you select your options of goods and services or friends and family, never do friends and family.
Unless you know them.
Unless you know them, they've been really good, and just they've always carried through.
Right. Because
after 3 months, once it hits that date for the 3rd month, that you cannot refund your money, if at all. If you selected goods and services. If you selected friends and family and they never give you your art, well, you can't refund that.
You can't refund that. Period.
I've actually had to do that. I won a raffle or not really a raffle. It was a bid for an animation meme. It was $80. I sent it to them, goods and services, as always, and they sent me, like, 3 frames of animation, and then just basically died. Like, they just, like, fell off the face of the earth, and I kept messaging them every couple of weeks or so. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a refund. Yep. And I just pulled the $80 right from underneath of them. Still didn't hear anything. So they rather actually died, or they just try to scam me. So,
and that's something about, you know, you could absolutely follow up with your artists, like, hey, what's the progress? Just you need anything from me, etc.
Cues.
Definitely the cues. Yep.
Make sure they have like a Trello or some kind of paperwork showing like what they're doing next. Like, because honestly, if artists don't have cues, it's kind of a little suspicious at first.
Yeah, it can be. It definitely can be. But like, with certain artists, I mean, like I'll prop up Firefox. Do they have?
I don't know if they have a queue or not, but honestly, they get their stuff done like the hour literally like
they're
hey,
insanely
I need this thing.
fast.
And, like,
if you find Firefox arts out there, God, you are in for a treat.
Literally, you say, "Hey, I need this," and then before you finish the sentence, they're done.
Yeah, they read your mind. They read your mind. But where I was going with that is kind of gauging on a time frame of, are they consistent and will they deliver in time, in a timely manner? Whether that means in time for an event or just in general not keeping you wait for a year, that's a big thing. And that's where I was going with talking with previous clients, is going, hey, how long did it take for this to get to you? And that way you can kind of get a baseline of what you can expect. But all of that to say, to answer the question of what's your ultimate goal? Because what we're going to go into is branding versus iconography. And again, iconography is kind of a word I've coined here. But if you're wanting to brand, and if you're wanting to make something that people can, they go, oh hey, Mickey Mouse, or oh hey, Homer Simpson. Or,
the best way to do that is one of the tricks for that is, like, can you silhouette your character? Meaning just make them all one color, and can you know what that character is that silhouette?
Yeah, will they be recognizable? And that goes into kind of the first couple of points here. Keep it relatively simple. And now, what I want to make sure to distinguish is, simple does not mean bland. No. Okay, it doesn't mean like a couple colors and it's like a carbon copy of every other OC out there, like the Neon Wolf Army or whatever you want to.
Like I've seen people have super complex like dragon character designs. They look awesome, but for me, drawing that, oh god, that is hell.
Right.
Like, it's like, oh, I don't wanna, but I'd love to, but there's so much.
So start with a base that can be created with minimal effort and is easily recognizable. Now, you can absolutely go out of your own way and detail the heck out of it. Excuse me. But what you want your base to be is just something with a little bit of design, definitely that can set you apart from others, and something that artists can recreate fairly simply. Because there's artists out there that will absolutely go the next 10 miles and will make your piece into this beautiful magnum opus, But for branding purposes, keep it simple. Keep it consistent. And consistency is key, because if you start changing stuff up, your audience starts losing you. And that goes right into keeping in mind what audience you're kind of going for. So there's obviously younger audience, middle-age audience, and then our beloved elders.
The elders.
Yes, the elders. So I don't know, where would you put us when we're kind of
like we're younger middle.
Younger to middle.
Yeah, it depends on like your not attitude, but just like what you're into, really.
Right.
So
when you're looking at a younger audience, they tend to enjoy bright, flashy colors, loud audio, fast-paced action.
Silly, goofy,
Exactly. They like the fart reverb.
Guess I'm the young audience then.
Okay, well, but that to say younger audience, it's kind of a broad terminology. Anyone in the middle age or older audience may like slower pacing with nuanced humor, and they tend to take to a couple in-your-face jokes, but they may not want it to be the focus,
Or they might like look into things more like looking at the lore, reading into your stuff,
right.
wanting to know more about your character.
And having kind of a broad swath of things for people to enjoy allows you to tap into multiple different audiences. And that's where you got to ask yourself: are you going to be family friendly? Are you going to be PG-13? You going to keep going up? Are you going to say the fuck word?
Are you going to say?
Because we're going to say the fuck word.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you? Basically, it's you. So like, you know, you gotta make it you.
Yeah.
In a sense, like
exactly.
That's how you're gonna roll.
And then really thinking about what can separate you from the Neon Wolf Army, as it were.
Neon Wolf Army. I love that term.
What makes you different from all the other furries, all
wolves.
the yes, right, all the other streamers, all the other people that are doing what you're doing now? What makes you different? It could be something small. It could be something massive. You've got these people on TikTok literally pouring a bucket of syrup on 2 pancakes, and that gets them going. Their audience goes nuts. Okay, I don't get it, but that makes them very different.
Yeah. You gotta be different, but have fun with it.
Well, you do, yeah. Or you can be more audience oriented, really opening your content up to audience interaction. You know,
there's just so many ways to go about
there is
any of this. Like whatever way is the way that you're having fun with it, and it it doesn't even have to grab an audience if you don't want. Like over the years, I have made like tons of different kind of content, like all different kind of content. Some of it works, and a lot of it doesn't. And you know what? The stuff that doesn't really work too well, I have more fun with, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that people don't realize, like if you have a stream going, right, and you have like 7 people watching, let's say.
God,
Imagine,
that'd be the day.
Imagine a room with you and 7 other people. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Even like if you have a video and you get 100 views on it, imagine 100 other people watching. Like that, social media has just like made it so if like something doesn't blow up, you think you're failing. Like you gotta picture it in the sense of that is one person.
Yeah.
Like there is so many people that are watching this. Like 100 people is a lot of people if you think about it.
And to build on that, I used to. This goes way back. So I used to have a meme page that was dedicated to Heavy, like just Heavy, not the robot.
I love that. I actually follow one on Twitter.
So
it's like HeavyBotTF2 or something.
Yeah, that's not me.
Yeah,
that's fine. No,
it's not me.
Back when Facebook first started coming out, and it wasn't selling everyone's data, and everyone was happy.
The good old days of Farmville.
Yeah, right. I used to have that page, and I would just make life-based memes with a heavy characterization. And I didn't have a huge following, but I had like 2 or 3 people that I never met before that said, before I had to delete it because my parents were afraid of strangers on the internet. Look at me now, Ma! It's probably not as loud as I'm going to get. But anyway, they said, hey, it's sorry to see you going, but you made my day better. Whenever I saw one of your memes, it's like that's
awesome.
That's all you need.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, that's because it was a very short period of time before my dad got mad at me.
When I go back to like Facebook, like my friend, I shouldn't say her name, but my friend had a laptop, and I got one recently then too, and she's like, oh, you should play Farmville with me, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, and then we had to download Facebook, make a Facebook account, and my mom and her mom worked together in our house, doing like a trucking business, so she needed my laptop to do her work, because I guess it was like a shared laptop or something, and they seen that I had Facebook in my history, or whatever, I'm like, I'm just playing Farmville, Mom, like... She's like, there's weird people. I'm like, Mom, I just want to play this stupid farm game.
Those were the days.
It's so good.
And now everyone's data is being sold and bought.
Is Farmville even a thing anymore?
Not really.
There's no way it is.
That's another conversation for another day.
Games. Putting your character in games or media
true.
Or animations
yep.
or even just modding. I've done plenty of modding.
Yeah, like
stuff.
What is it?
I've had.
What's that song one?
Friday Night Funkin'.
Yeah, that one.
That one I've seen many people like blow up because
Friday
of that.
Night Funkin'. You've got
I got
Don't
Don't
Starve.
Starve.
Yep.
I have Binding of Isaac modded, and it's funny is I don't really play any of these games, but
Right.
they're just easy modded games. And just putting it up on like the Steam Workshop, like it's just fun, and people will just download it and like play as your character.
And if
you're okay with that, is the thing.
And that all is the other side of the coin to iconography. Again, that's my term. Iconography is the left turn on the fork in the road, whether or not you want a brand or icon. So iconography, in my view, isn't super heavy on the merch side. There can be merch, absolutely, but it's not super heavy on the merch side. It's more with public appearances, building deals with like community-based efforts.
Yeah.
So Bastille's a really great. What I want to say is an icon.
Iconic example.
Yes. Where he goes out to these Florida cons. People know him immediately. He's got his picture up in several small businesses, all through like St. Augustine, Orlando. Where else? Are there
Just
Tampa?
Mostly Florida stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's even told me himself like he's more of like the con dog.
Right.
Like everyone knows him in the con space, but online he's told me that he's not known.
Right.
Now I'll use the other side of the spectrum. Winged Wolf, 94.
There you go. Yep.
She's extremely well known online. As soon as we go to the cons, unless she's wearing Cadaver, which is her skull dog.
Yeah.
Then people
go.
are like, they've mistaken me. I've had many people come up to me asking if I'm Winged Wolf, and I'm like, wait, no, she's right there, or like, no, I'm not it. Like,
I can attest to that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle between those two. Like, I'm known online and in the con space in little bits.
Right, and
I like that.
You can take iconography with branding. You know, it's just if you wanted to focus on one or the other, I wanted to make that distinction because. Like you said, Bastille is the con skull dog, and he made the skull dog what it is, in my opinion.
He's very big. Yeah, he's a very big skull dog icon. Same with Winged Wolf. Very big animator skull dog icon.
But like you said, online or in person, depending on who we're talking about, they're not as known.
Both of those two are have been and will continue to be very big inspirations for me because I started talking to Bastille probably 2016, 2017, like when I started going to the cons, and I was like, whoa, your mask is really cool. Whoa. Like, I'd actually go up and have like normal conversations, not, oh my god, I love you, fangirling or whatever. I actually had good questions to ask him and just started talking to him, and it's just, it just turned out to be really fun and really great. And then I got to learn a lot from him, and he's a very good friend now and very good person to talk to about a lot of that stuff. Oh,
we were stuck in their apartment for what, an hour and a half?
2 hours? I could have kept talking. I could have.
Yeah. If they wanted to let us stay over, we would have. Lovely people.
Bastille's, I guess girlfriend, fiance.
I can't remember.
She
Autumn.
Autumn. Yep. She made Engulfier.
Yes.
Your skull dog. Very well made. Very, very, very good. And she's actually the one who furred my skull dog as well. So Riot.
But that brings us kind of to our last place, is how did these wonderful people get to where they're going, and if you want to make a career out of this, how to make your OC make money. Get out there.
Yeah, literally talk to
touch
people.
Grass.
Yeah, go touch grass. In the fursuit, go touch grass.
Absolutely. People love that. That's a funny meme.
Oh, that reminds me. Something that I haven't done out of gonna be giving all these examples out. I have not done public suiting. And I've heard a lot of good experiences and a lot of bad experiences. I'm kind of indifferent about that.
Yeah.
I feel like with a lot of people, yes, that'd be fun, but by myself, no, fuck no.
And it is really just getting yourself out there, meeting people,
mostly
go to conventions if you want. But that's where you start building a network of people, a network of like-minded folks. Boothing is a good way, because then you get in touch with the people that aren't necessarily part of the fandom, but they see what you're selling. They're like, ooh, shiny. And then build your community from that. You know, we have our signs up when we booth at Indie PopCon and now Louisville PopCon. Follow us and you'll get a free whatchamacallit, whatever it is, you know. But it does take time.
Yes.
So go at your own pace. Don't. If the worst thing you could do is burn yourself out, and then you've put in effort for basically nothing. Yeah. Just keep yourself
at a good
alive.
Pace. Yeah.
That's the big thing. Take care of yourself.
And you don't have to do something every single second of the day.
No.
Either. You can take time for yourself. You can plan out, like, oh, I want to attend this one convention. It's going to be a big convention. Yeah. I'm going to
MFF.
Get everything all together for that. This is going to be my one time a year thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can do the opposite spectrum where you're going to literally, like, what we're doing, like, everything. Well, not everything, but most things. Yeah. Just because it's fun. It's fun to booth. It's fun to costume. It's fun to get yourself out there. It's fun to talk to people. It's fun to get photos. There's so much stuff that you can do.
Just remember,
as your character,
sensationalism will pass. Just keep moving forward. Keep coming up with new ideas. Keep creating. That's really the crux of it, you know.
But
yeah. Any final thoughts or anything we missed? Anything you want to fill in? I think we've had a well-rounded conversation on original characters and the creation of thus.
Oh, there's always so much more. It's just like sitting down and writing it all out and
explaining
it.
It really is.
So
just let your creative font flow, as it were. One thing that one of my directors always told me is when you're writing a first draft, just write. Don't look back. Just write forward. So that could be the same for art. When you're sketching a first sketch, just sketch.
Just sketch. If the line looks crappy, oh well, just keep sketching over it.
Yeah, you're not doing line art yet,
yeah,
so
you're
good.
You're on the sketching phase.
if your plushie looks weird, just keep making. I mean, you never know. You know, just you have to start to finish.
Yeah.
And if you don't finish, why'd you start?
That's a good point.
I know. Every so often I have one of those. Well.
Alrighty. Well, I think this is a good place.
This is it.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. The Bot and the Beast.
Thank you for coming by.
I don't know. How many? You want to do this? Like maybe once a month? Maybe more.
We'll
figure it out. This is the first one, so
yeah.
We'll see.
If you like it, let us know, and we'll make more. And I tell you what, if you bring us what's the word, topics, we may talk about them. We're gonna kind of experiment with our own
formatting, I guess, our way of
doing this. what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
Lots of ideas that we've got. June's gonna be a big month because, well, duh.
Yeah.
It's June. No. But yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this has been Bot and the Beast. It is now 42 degrees on April 23rd. If you're going out, take a light coat. Goodbye.